You can see that the SPY almost hit 412, so those were deep in the money. We took them off. I know a lot of the community joined me on this. I asked everyone, hey, did you get a piece of this? And we had a plethora of replies. So we got over 100% gain on this. Hey Trade Pros, what's up? It's Victor from Trade Pro Academy, and we've got yet another weekly wrap up for you guys. I'm gonna be doing a weekly wrap up of what happened in the overall stock market and what kind of trades we took as a team and what kind of trades I took throughout the week. We're gonna be posting content like this every week. So if you like this, if you like what you see here, give it a thumbs up. Smash that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell to notify you when we drop videos like these. And when we go live in the mornings and now in the afternoons when we do trade review videos. So this is a weekly recap of what we've got throughout this past week, ending April 9th. And as it goes on this segment, we are going to be going through the market breadth, some of the longer term positions, swing positions that I was talking about last week, and then naturally going through the trades. So give me a thumbs up for this sweater. Let me know if you like it. This Trade Pro sweater, you can get stuff like this at our store. We're going to be giving stuff out like this in a bit. So hit that like button if you like this sweater. So before we get started through this, let's go through our intro, and I hope everyone enjoys these videos. So first in this segment, I want to talk about the market breadth. So this is, again, the advancers versus decliners that we talked about last time. I'm going to pop it up here on the screen for whoever's new on this segment and on this channel. I like to look at the market breadth here beside me. That tells me which sectors are strong, which sectors are continuing to grow, and around the 1,000 point, right? If we get around 1,000 on the market breadth, we're going to get to that overbought territory. 1,100 is extremely overbought, and from there we could see some sell pressure, which we're not yet. We're just a bit above last week's metric. Last week we were around 830 something, I believe, and now we're at 853. In general, you can see the sectors have not really changed. What has changed is financials have gone up since last week by a few points, and we're getting towards that overbought territory in the tech sector. So tech has been lagging, but you can see the NASDAQ this week has popped up. So having said that, we still have Apple. Apple has finally gained traction back above 130. We were talking about it in the last video for a potential long move. And if you guys got on board that tech rally, great job. Look for some continuation. NASDAQ has yet to hit a new high other than what we had seen on Friday, and S&P 500, the other market, the other general broader market, has hit high after high after high. So tech being a huge laggard, we're looking for that catch-up play. A lot of tech names did hit all-time highs this week, like Microsoft, again, another name that we mentioned last week, and also Facebook. So based on this breadth, we're still not in the overbought territory, so we could still continue moving up in the overall market as these sectors still come towards that 100-point mark. So in the high 90s, mid 90s, you'll see a little overbought territory, especially in the tech sector, which can hold at that area, but tends to taper off. You can see at the top in the oscillator, we're at the sell zone, which is towards that 1,000 barrier. And if we start exceeding that, we're going to see a little more aggressive sell pressure. Now, what I could see for next week is a little more upside followed with some downside movement. I think the S&P and the broader market has a few more points in it before we do see a pullback. It's been multiple days of pure strength, so it's not uncommon to see a pullback. They're healthy, get some more longs in, because when you're at a high like this, after breaking so much higher than the prior high, well, there's no one left to buy. In the next portion of this, I want to talk about the names that we were covering last week in terms of swings. So I want to throw up Microsoft here, the chart of Microsoft. We were talking about some potential longs. We saw some 255 call action that expire next week, actually. And Microsoft, if you see by the end of this week, came about 25 cents on the close, just shy of 255. So if you guys took a trade on that based on the analysis that we did last week, great job. We had a piece of it in our room. We also talked about a few other names like Apple, for example. Apple still has some more room to get to a new high. And I'm going to throw up another favorite of mine here, apps. Apps has yet to break out of this. You can see larger triangle formation, but it still has that potential. I'm going to give it a few more weeks. I've had those apps shares for quite some time now. I actually took some profit this week looking for another extension to the upswing. So we've also got another one. This one is a longtime favorite of mine. Pins will throw it up, and that thing exploded this week. I'm going to look for some more upside, trim some on the way up, but I still see that $100 mark as a target, and that won't necessarily happen without a pullback, right? So I don't see it going a straight shot. But we've seen Facebook also hit new highs, and next week I'm going to be looking for a catch-up play on Apple, mainly. In terms of other stock names that I like, there's things like Chewy. Keep an eye out on Chewy because that thing could break back up. You got to be patient with this thing. It's up 7%. I mentioned it in our trading room this past week. And also, I like CrowdStrike for a break higher past that 205 area. So those are the two main names I'm going to look at, and a third one is going to be Netflix, another tech name that can potentially break out through its resistance points. So if you like this part of the segment, again, let me know. If you guys are looking for that community, if you guys want to see more talk about stocks, you want to see different ideas, you want to see options trades, whatever it may be, futures trades, join a community like ours at community.tradeproacademy.com. The link's going to be in the bio, but we welcome you all to our free community where you can chat with myself, George, Mark, Sarah, anyone at TradePro, and find those opportunistic ideas like we have laid out last week, even in this market segment. But I hope to see you guys there. And for the next part of this, I just want to go through some of the trades, even some swing trades that I had taken throughout the week. So I want to make it a little shorter here. I don't want to bore you with every single trade that I took. I'll show you some losers, some winners, some things that I even announced in the community and on our VIX Picks video in the mornings with some names that I shoot them that I'm interested in for day trades. So let's start it off. On Monday, again, like I said, has been a really good market to trade in the options world. I traded Facebook a lot this week. Now, Facebook has been kind to me, but it's also been kind of mean to me. So I took a few losses on Facebook this week, but overall green on Facebook for the week. I'm going to throw up the first chart here, just the general Facebook chart on a 5-minute chart. You can see Facebook. What I noticed this week, it just pops off the open and then gets a little pullback and then sees where it goes, whether up or down. So this week I was very diligent using my pivots, my levels, and I didn't catch that first pop off the open. I don't really like to trade right off the open. I'll give it 10-15 minutes. You can see here on the screen where that red arrow is. We looked for the pullback in the room, in the live trading room, where I got a nice piece of the long side. Now I held it for a bit. I'll throw the actual fills up to the options right here onto my left. You can see a decent winner, right? About, I think it was 8 contracts on this one. I usually go about $1,000 worth of premium in each trade, looking for 30, 40, 50% those increments of gain. Now, one thing that I learned this week is that markets are slower. They have regulated themselves to what is a normal market movement condition rather than what we were used to when we saw the crash era, the COVID era. So looking for pullbacks, looking for smaller wins, that was the goal this week, just staying a little more consistent and taking profits a little faster, right? Even if I had to take 15 to 20% gain on the premium, if that was the case, then that's how it should have been done. So you can see right here on the left, we got in around 90, right? $90 a contract, about 8 shares. Took some off at 115, 112 for a decent gain. And then the rest of them held them a little longer than maybe I should have with all those rotations. But Facebook is strong. Facebook had a lot of upside. Monday was the day that the markets really said, I want to rally. There was strength behind this. There was just a lot of bullish sentiment, so I held them a little longer. And the last few we dumped at around 130, 135 or so. So decent gain, about net 40% on the gain or so. I think 35, 40% somewhere there, which was one of the better trades of the week, I would say. And then also around the earlier ends of the week, again, I'll throw some positions right here. I've had PAVM, PAVMed for a while, a lower price stock, a longer term position that I'd mentioned months ago. My average fills around $4, but I mentioned it months ago, and finally we got paid with a 50% gainer, took some off the table, and let's see how far we can run this baby. I want to see $10 on this. So this is just a quick little segment of something that we did in the room, a little swinger that we've been going on for a while now. Now on Tuesday, when the markets were a little dippy, I still had a lot of bullish sentiment in the market. You can see right here, this is the EchoFin chat, the community chat, where I mentioned that, hey, I'm gonna enter some 409 calls. This was on April 6th. For the April 12th expiry. I think we're going to be in the money by the end of the week at 409. You can see that message right there. And this is what the SPY looked like. We'll throw it up here. The SPY was dipping and huge level at 406, 405 half of that area. I really liked it, and that's where I announced it because there was just strength in this market. This thing wanted upside. There was a lot of dark pool orders, a lot of block orders that we had noticed, so the sentiment was just super bullish. So I bought some on the dip. The thing got beat up into the close. These things were down like, I think about like 40 or 30%, but this was a trade that I was willing to risk 50, 60% of the premium because it had a lot of potential to that upswing. And then you can see right here, by the end of Friday, by the end of today's recording video, you can see that the SPY almost hit 412. So those were deep in the money. We took them off. I know a lot of the community joined me on this. I asked everyone, hey, did you get a piece of this? And we had a plethora of replies. So we got over 100% gain on this one. That's what I was looking for that upside. So swings like these are great. Not only do we day trade, but we throw some swings in there, short-term swings and longer-term swings. I just wanted to give you guys a rounded image of all the different trading aspects we do. And then PayPal and Square, those two notorious payment systems, payment companies, they were amazing this week. I missed Square like 3 times. I tried to get on board, but I couldn't get filled on it. I didn't want to market order because I don't know, with the slower market, I'm not too accustomed to breakouts, like I said. So with PayPal, actually, we took a position on PayPal. I think it was Wednesday. Again, announced it in the free chat room. I announced it everywhere for you guys. And this is what it looked like. This is a PayPal chart right here. And we just had this like key resistance area. This is a 5 minute. If you look at it on a daily, these like key resistance areas, once they break after forming higher lows, you're gonna get that push, you're gonna get that extension. And here are the fills for that actually. We got a few contracts on. I didn't go too crazy with this one, just 3 contracts because again, it's a breakout, so I'm not too confident in those in this current market condition. I don't know the extent of them, but we managed to get a little breakout piece of this. 3 contract costing about $125 each, so not that much put down, like about 400 bucks almost. And we took a nice profit, some of them at 200 bucks, right? One of them at around 200 bucks profit, so $75 gain on that one contract, and then the other 2 around 250. So pretty substantial gains for a low risk opportunity, about like 80-90% I believe on that one. So amazing trade. We announced it as well. And then this is where I got in trouble. So I'm feeling good. Facebook's been nice to me. I think Facebook's gonna go to the moon. I got confirmation bias there. I got a little more bias towards the upside in FANG. So I can't find the trades, but here is Facebook. I took 3 losses on this, 3 losses. So just because I can't find the trades doesn't mean it's not true. 3 losses on this trade. I just tried to buy Facebook at a support, like it was holding. I had some gains. Remember what I said? I want to take 15 to 20% profit. I had about 17% profit. I got greedy, didn't take it, turns into a loss, right? Took like a 20% hit on that. Second trade, just pure loss on it, took another 20% hit. And the third trade, again, a little hopeful, took another 20% hit on it. So substantial loss on Facebook midweek, which was kind of disheartening, but hey, it happens, right? We can't always have winners, but we managed to climb out of it into the end of the week. So those losses were a little bigger than I had hoped for. I believe on that day it was like around $1,000 in total losses on Facebook. We clawed back a little, but I think I barely made it out break even on that day. But overall, not the best thing to have a bias. This is where we don't confuse bulls for brains, because that's what happened in the market rally. That's why all of these breakout traders now and all of these long traders, these newer traders, are having a little more difficulty, because you have to adjust your trading style and you can't just buy everything, right? It's not going to work. And I learned that, I guess, the hard way. I knew it, but at the same time I got cocky, I got confident and took a hit on it. And then this is a SPY trade again. This was on Thursday. Here's the SPY chart, the 5 minute. And again, a hint of that confidence and cockiness that the SPY only goes up, so I bought it very close to the open, took a hit right away. At least I did it on small size, 5 contracts compared to my 10 to 15 normal. 5 contract on this, took a hit pretty much right away. And the second time right here, you can see the second X right at that bottom. That was key support. That was an area that I was very confident in. That was the area that I should have been buying it, and we took it for a nice little rip. So these are the order fills actually here. You can see the first one took a hit, took a loss on 5 contracts. Second one loaded up on 15 because that was the area of confidence and made up for those losses. Now, was this the best win of all time? About 25%, 30% gain. I think it was just shy of 30%, around 25. So again, we took profits a little quicker than normal, but you know what? Look at the rest of this chart where the actual options price is. From the area that I got out on those red arrows, we pretty much dumped right after that. So I didn't lose any potential gains on that. I'm pretty proud of this trade. After I had taken a hit, I had to recalibrate my brain quickly and not do what I did with Facebook. And then to get back at Facebook, right, on, I think this was the same day that I took the first hit on the SPY. You can see right here, this is the chart of Facebook on a 5-minute chart. This time I knew, you know what, Facebook does not only go up if it's at support, maybe, but right now my moving averages are telling me that this thing's bearish. So sentiment on the day a little more bearish. I had my levels again announced in the room where I'm getting long, where I'm getting short, and it hit my put area, so the area where I'm going to look for puts and downside, and we took this thing for a little ride to the downside. Not much of a gain, but we took Facebook. You can see where those red X's are, where we saw it break down, pull back to the moving average, and then drop, and then a slight little pullback. I sold it right there. Well, I bought the puts right there, and I was waiting for a crash through that pivot. We broke it just temporarily, got out when I saw it was struggling. So here are the fills on that on the puts. You can see even there's an account number up there. I blocked it out. You can see it's U, so it's not a demo account on Interactive Brokers. U means live. And again, not the craziest gain, about like 22, 23%, but you know what? Get paid quick, because look at the rest of this chart. It looks like crap. And here's the last trade that I took on Friday. It's Facebook. Looking for calls again. You can see it on the screen right here. We are holding temporary bullish momentum, right? I could have gotten in trouble here because it was kind of below some of my support, but it was acting very bullish. A lot of buying was going on, and my correlations were telling me that it's buy time. You know, NASDAQ was ripping, S&P 500 was holding strong, everything, Apple was going up, and from there I took a shot on Facebook as it started rotating, holding its support zone. You can see the fills right there, and I got out super quick at like 17% gain because, again, like I said, Friday, it's a lotto Friday, right? These things expire today, so I can't be too cute with them. And I took it way quicker than maybe I should have because we had a nice move up. From there, I had multiple chances to get in, but again, it felt like it was too rushed. It was a Friday. I didn't really want to risk it. I had nice gains on Facebook, right? And I also had a decent profit on that SPY call that I managed to close out for 100% gainer that we swung earlier in the week. So on Facebook, those 70% gain, about $200 on that. Overall on the week, we had a whopping, not 5-figure week, unfortunately, but we came close to it, about $7 grand in total, which was amazing based on the plays that we had. And all of them were announced and talked about in the room. So if you want a free room that talks about most of these trades, just hit up community.tradeproacademy.com and we'll see you guys there. Thank you for watching, and get ready for the next weekly update where I'll probably be trading Chewy, I'll probably be trading Netflix, and many more. Who knows? Will Facebook be on the list this time around? Because it was last time and this time. So let's see. Tech back to the tops, or are we seeing a pullback? I foresee a SPY pullback, a dip, and then a rip into the end of the month. So let's see what happens. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time.